Last week, I decided to start work on Baaaah 2021, hosted by GitHub, a game jam joined by over 6,000 participants. I waited anxiously to see the reveal of the theme, which ended up being Bug. I knew that I wanted to work on a 3D platformer game, as I have always liked the genre, and have been wanting to create one myself. I have created one before, but that was one of my first games that I made. It wasn't very good, but I had a great time making it because I really like making 3D platformers. I'll leave a download link in the description, but rest assured the best part was the trailer. I started development out by using a 3D platforming template that I have been working on for a bit and just finished up a few days earlier. This template had a basic system of movement, jumping with coyote time, the ability to go up slopes, moving platforms, and respawning. Basically, whatever I would need to create the most simple of 3D platforming games. I started tinkering around with the jumping controls and ended up breaking it, basically, which allowed the player to fly. That's when the idea came to me of making a bee-themed 3D platformer, because I saw the flying, the theme was bug, thought it was perfect, and so yeah, I started working on it. Originally, I was going to have it where flying would only be allowed after charging up on a spot of honey. But I realized after that mechanic would just get annoying, that you wouldn't be able to jump at certain points. So I scrapped it and just made it where you have a limited amount of time to fly that recharges whenever you land very quickly. Like you have like a few seconds just so you can't spam it. After devising my main mechanic, I set about making a level to test it out on, which involves a few more of the basic things that I wanted to include, such as a bounce pad and moving platforms. I wanted everything to be in the theme of bees, so for the bounce pads, I decided to make them flowers, which I thought would be pretty good, because bees like to collect pollen, and for the moving platforms and for the floors, I wanted to make them in the shape of like basic honeycombs, like in a beehive. I was quite pleased with the result of these models, as this is the first game that I am being the primary artist. At the same time, I started work on the player model, but had trouble coming up with the design. So after a few attempts, I decided on making a rotund bee with stubby wings, which I thought was really cute. I ended up texture painting him, and for the colors, I ended up using the Pear 64 color palette from Low Spec, which I've really ended up liking, so I used it for all the other models to keep a consistent style and color scheme. With the implementation of the basic mechanics of the game, I felt quite good about the progress I was making, so I decided to finish up the first level I was working on, but something felt like it was missing, so I added in basic collectibles in the form of honeycombs. I used the wand from Cheerios for my inspiration. With the collectibles and main mechanics, the level started to feel a lot more complete. I saved this level as a template in order to make the designing of future levels much faster, as I would not have to re-add the player, camera, and just basic elements every single time. After creating the template, I set about creating a few more levels, which I had a great deal of fun doing, as level design has always been my favorite aspect of game development. After creating 4 levels, I realized before going any further that I was missing a general UI, pause menu, and a skybox that I would have to implement in every single level if not done from the template. So in order to save myself the fuss of having to redo the same task 20 or more times, I took the pause menu from a previous game that I worked on called Can You Goo It, and added in a counter that counted the number of honeycombs gathered in the level out of the total number that are in the level. I want to update these UI elements soon, as they don't look very good. I'm not very good with UI design, but they work for now, and since they're prefabbed into all the levels, it'll be much easier to modify once, and it'll update for everything else. For the skybox, I used Farland Skies by Boradar on the Unity Asset Store, which gave the exact cartoony aesthetic that I was looking for, and I think it added a lot to the level, feeling more complete. After completing these basic UI elements, I was still unsure on how to end the level, so I hopped into Blender and started tinkering around with the honeycomb I had made earlier. I threw a flagpole inside of it and was quite happy with how it looked, so for now, the levels end when you reach the giant honeycomb with a flag sticking out the top, which I think is kind of funny, but I'm pretty happy with it. Overall, I've had a blast this past week working on my 3D platformer, and will keep you updated in the coming weeks as the project comes along. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, as it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Bye.